Every single day, over 100,000 people pass away worldwide. Yet new longevity research shows that more than half of those deaths could have been delayed simply by changing 5 everyday habits most people don't even notice. In this video, we'll uncover the 5 silent habits that quietly shave years off your life after 60. And more importantly, how to reverse them using easy, science-backed adjustments anyone can start today. We'll look at what modern aging labs and neuroscience are revealing about the way movement, rest, mindset, and even social behavior control biological aging, not your genes. And if you stay until the end, I'll share a 6th. Overlooked factor researchers at Stanford call the longevity accelerator, something most doctors rarely mention, but could add nearly a decade of healthy life. I'm Dr. Eli Morgan, a geriatric physician with over 30 years helping patients not just live longer, but stay sharp, strong, and independent. Today, I'll walk you through exactly how to avoid the mistakes that make most people age faster than they realize. The hidden math of aging, why lifestyle beats genetics. When people think about aging, most picture their genes as the main culprit, like a biological countdown clock they can't stop. But here's what decades of research are proving wrong. Genes explain less than 25% of how long you'll live. The other 75% is determined by your daily choices. The food you eat, the hours you sleep, the way you handle stress, and how often you connect with others. In 2024, researchers at the Karolinska Institute analyzed data from 50,000 adults over 25 years and found something astonishing. People who maintained just 4 positive habits, good sleep, regular movement, balanced diet, and social connection, lived on average 14 years longer than those who didn't. That's not theory. That's measurable biological resilience. Think of your health span, the years you live vibrantly, like compound interest. Each small positive habit doesn't just add days, it multiplies your body's ability to recover, repair, and regenerate. On the other hand, neglecting one area, like chronic stress or sitting too long, can quietly dismantle progress in every other area, accelerating what scientists now call inflammaging, or age-related inflammation. That's why you'll often see 2 people the same age. One climbing mountains, the other struggling to walk across the room. It's not luck. It's lifestyle arithmetic. So today, as we go through the 5 habits that quietly shorten life after 60, I'll show you how each one connects to the others, and how correcting just one can create a ripple that restores your entire system. And remember, at the end, we'll discuss that little-known longevity accelerator, the hidden factor even most physicians overlook, but it's the missing link for lasting energy and mental clarity after retirement. Deadly habit number 1. The passive body. You might think that hitting 10,000 steps a day means you're safe from inactivity. But here's the shocking truth. Even active adults who exercise regularly can face the same death risk as smokers if they spend the rest of the day sitting. Why it matters, a 2023 meta-analysis from the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that people who sit more than 8 hours daily, even those who work out, increase their all-cause mortality risk by 59% compared to those who move consistently throughout the day. The reason? Prolonged sitting shuts down enzymes responsible for fat metabolism, reduces blood flow to the brain, and slows muscle repair. Your body basically goes into low power mode. And after 60, the consequences multiply. Mitochondria, your cell's energy factories, naturally slow down with age, but staying seated for long periods accelerates that decline, starving your muscles and your heart of energy. Meet Harold. Let's take Harold, a retired teacher who believed daily walks were enough. He'd spend an hour each morning strolling through his neighborhood, but the rest of his day was on the couch with the TV or tablet. When he came in for a checkup, his blood sugar, cholesterol, and waistline all looked worse than the year before, even though he thought he was active. Harold wasn't lazy. He was trapped by a cultural illusion, thinking that exercise once a day cancels out 10 hours of stillness. The home test. Here's a simple test I give every patient over 60. Sit in a chair with your arms crossed and time how long it takes you to stand up and sit down 5 times without using your hands. If it takes you more than 15 seconds, your lower body strength and metabolic flexibility are already declining. A red flag for premature frailty. The fix. The 30/3 protocol. Most people can't change desk jobs or TV habits overnight, so here's what actually works. Every 30 minutes, stand up for at least 3 minutes. Stretch, refill water, do heel raises, or walk to another room. If you're reading or watching TV, stand during commercial breaks or between episodes. If you're retired, use habit piggybacking. Move every time you finish a cup of coffee, a chapter, or a phone call. This 30/3 rhythm has been shown in recent gerontology studies to lower blood sugar spikes by up to 35% and improve leg circulation dramatically without any formal workout. Level up tiered protocols to make this adaptable for everyone. Level A, limited mobility. March in place for 60 seconds every 30 minutes. Level B, average mobility. Add a 10-minute walk after every meal. Level C, high mobility. Incorporate movement snacks. 1B, short bursts of squats, balance holds, or stair climbs through the day. The goal isn't perfection, it's interruption. Every small burst breaks the cycle of metabolic slowdown. The transformation. After 4 months of following the 30/3 protocol, Harold didn't just lose 12 pounds. His fasting glucose normalized, and for the first time in years, he stopped feeling foggy in the afternoons. But the biggest change wasn't physical. It was mental clarity. Movement became his daily reset button engagement cue. So, here's my question for you. How many hours do you think you spend sitting each day truly? Comment your best guess below. You might be surprised when you actually track it, because as you'll see in the next habit, even one hidden behavior like this can silently age your brain and your body faster than time itself. Deadly habit number 2, the broken sleep cycle. If there's one silent thief that ages your body faster than sugar or stress, it's this: poor sleep. Yet nearly half of adults over 60 believe needing less sleep is just part of getting older. It's not. It's a red flag your body is in repair debt. The real science. In 2022, the National Institute on Aging released a cross-country study tracking older adults' sleep habits for 10 years. The results were startling. Those who averaged fewer than 6 hours per night had a 33% higher risk of dementia and a 45% higher risk of stroke, even after controlling for diet and exercise. Why? Because during deep sleep, your brain's glymphatic system, its internal cleaning crew, clears out cellular waste and toxins like beta amyloid, which build up to cause memory loss. When that process gets disrupted, your brain literally ages faster. Sleep is also the time when growth hormone and melatonin peak. The same compounds that repair muscle, balance blood sugar, and regulate immune function. Meet Lorraine, a 67-year-old retired nurse, came to my clinic complaining of midnight wake-ups. She'd fall asleep easily, then bolt awake around 2 a.m., scrolling her phone until dawn. Her energy tanked, her weight crept up, and she assumed it was just menopause or aging. But when we measured her sleep architecture, the truth was clear. She was spending almost no time in slow-wave sleep, the phase responsible for physical recovery. The self-check. If you regularly feel heavy-eyed between 2 and 4 p.m., or you can't recall what you had for breakfast 2 days ago, your sleep quality, not just quantity, is compromised. Another simple test. Try recalling a list of 5 random words 10 minutes later. Trouble? That's your hippocampus flagging fatigue. The fix, the 3. 2, 1, reset, forget pills and supplements for now. Use the 3-2-1 reset, a protocol developed by behavioral sleep researchers. 3 hours before bed, no large meals or alcohol. 2 hours before bed, no liquids, reduces nighttime bathroom trips. 1 hour before bed, screens off, no blue light, no scrolling. Then replace phone time with a calming cue. soft music, stretching, or gratitude journaling. For those with frequent awakenings, add a worry window earlier in the evening. Spend 10 minutes writing down any concerns or to-dos. It trains your brain to stop rehearsing problems at midnight. Level up tiered protocols. Level A, light sleep issues. Apply the 3-2-1 reset for 2 weeks, then track how quickly you fall asleep. Level B, chronic night awakenings. Add temperature control. Keep your bedroom at 65 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 to 19 degrees Celsius. Cooler rooms signal melatonin release. Level C, insomnia. Practice mind-body decoupling. If you can't sleep after 20 minutes, leave the bed, read something neutral under dim light, and return only when sleepy. This breaks the anxiety loop between bed and wakefulness. Within 3 weeks, most of my patients report sharper memory and lower blood pressure just from these steps. No medication needed. The transformation. After adopting these habits, Lorraine's energy rebounded so much that she joined a community dance class she'd avoided for years. Her blood pressure dropped 12 points, and for the first time in a decade, she woke up feeling rested. I want to know, what's the biggest thing keeping you awake at night? Noise, screens, worry, or something else? Comment below, and I'll pick a few real-world examples to feature in an upcoming sleep improvement video. Because the truth is, good sleep isn't optional. It's your brain's nightly surgery for repair and longevity. And as you'll see in the next section, even if you sleep perfectly, one emotional habit can undo all that progress in silence. Deadly habit number 3, emotional isolation and the aging brain. You can eat perfectly and exercise daily, but if you live in emotional isolation, your brain interprets it as a slow emergency. And that chronic social stress silently accelerates aging more than a poor diet ever could. The hidden epidemic. According to a 2024 report by the World Health Organization, loneliness now carries a mortality risk equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes per day. Yet it's rarely diagnosed or discussed. When you lose regular human contact, cortisol, the stress hormone, stays elevated, damaging blood vessels and suppressing immune response. Over time, this constant biochemical fight or flight state erodes both heart and brain health. MRI studies from Cambridge University revealed that adults over 60 with low social engagement had 11% less gray matter volume in memory-related areas after just 3 years. In simple terms, isolation literally shrinks your brain. Meet Evelyn. A 72-year-old widow once told me she hadn't spoken to another person face-to-face for almost 2 days. Her labs looked fine, blood sugar, cholesterol, blood pressure, but she felt exhausted, foggy, and unmotivated. She described it best. It feels like my world keeps getting smaller. It wasn't depression in the clinical sense. It was social undernourishment. Humans are wired for connection. When that nutrient is missing, every system compensates poorly. The self-check. Here's a quick test. In the last 7 days, how many meaningful conversations, not text or quick chats, have you had that lasted more than 10 minutes? If it's fewer than 3, your social fitness is already below the threshold linked with cognitive resilience. Another simple check. Notice how often you laugh out loud. If it happens less than once a day, that's not personality, it's physiology. Laughter literally raises serotonin and lowers inflammatory markers like IL-6. The fix. The 1+1 challenge. Rebuilding social engagement after 60 isn't about forcing extroversion. It's about structure and small wins. Start with the 1+1 challenge. Once a week, schedule one deliberate conversation, in person or video, with someone outside your household. Once a month, join one group activity, a volunteer shift, book club, or walking group. These tiny actions create what psychologists call microbonds, which cumulatively reset your brain's social circuitry. For those comfortable with technology, join digital communities centered on shared learning, gardening, photography, or even history groups. Meaningful interaction doesn't have to be physical. It just has to be engaged. Level up, tiered connection goals. Level A, minimal mobility. Daily phone calls or video chats. Use conversation anchors like asking for advice or sharing a story. Level B, moderate mobility. Attend one local social or volunteer event per week. Level C, high mobility. Create connections through contribution. Mentor a younger person, teach a skill, or join intergenerational projects. This shift from consuming social contact to contributing is the most powerful mental health intervention I've ever seen. The transformation. Within 2 months, Evelyn began attending a local Art for Memory class twice a week. She told me, "I didn't just meet people. I started feeling like one again." Her sleep improved, her energy returned, and her cognitive test scores rose. The real miracle wasn't medicine, it was connection. Before you scroll away, ask yourself, when was the last time you had a conversation that made you forget time existed? If it's been a while, make it your mission this week to change that. And tell me in the comments who you plan to reach out to first. Because as you'll see in the next habit, even if your heart is full, the wrong foods can inflame your body faster than loneliness ever could. And undo everything you're rebuilding. Deadly. Habit number 4. Inflammatory eating and the slow burn inside. You can't see it, you rarely feel it, but it's slowly eroding your vitality. Inflammation. It's the body's alarm system, meant to heal cuts or fight infection, but when triggered daily by poor diet, that same system starts quietly burning you from the inside out. The hidden trigger. A 2023 review from the Journal of Clinical Nutrition and Aging found that older adults with diets high in refined carbs, processed oils, and sugary beverages had up to 68% higher biological age markers, even if their body weight was normal. That means your cells can literally be 10 to 15 years older than you are on paper. Inflammation doesn't always show up as pain. It can appear as brain fog, fatigue, slow wound healing, joint stiffness, or even mild depression. Doctors now call this phenomenon metabolic smoke. You don't see the fire, but it's smoldering everywhere. Meet Martin, a 66-year-old gardener, prided himself on eating healthy. Every morning he had orange juice, whole grain toast with margarine, and low-fat yogurt. Exactly what he'd been told was good for decades. But his lab tests told a different story. Elevated C-reactive protein, CRP, triglycerides through the roof, and constant knee inflammation. The problem wasn't overeating. It was outdated nutrition advice. The real culprits, refined seed oils, canola, soybean, sunflower, oxidize easily and promote inflammatory compounds called prostaglandins. Hidden sugars in healthy foods like granola bars, fruit yogurts, and bottled juices cause insulin spikes and oxidative stress. Processed low-fat items remove natural fats your hormones need and replace them with fillers that irritate the gut lining. Over time, this constant irritation confuses your immune system, keeping it in attack mode, damaging the very tissues it's meant to protect. The home test. You can do a simple check right now. Look at your most recent lab report or request one and note your CRP and HbA1c levels. CRP ideally below 1.0 milligrams per liter. HbA1c ideally below 5.5%. If either is higher, your internal fire is smoldering, even if you feel fine. The fix, the anti-inflammatory rebuild. Instead of cutting foods blindly, replace the triggers with cooling options proven to lower inflammation markers. Swap refined carbs for fiber-rich carbs, oats, quinoa, lentils. Replace seed oils with extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. Add polyphenol-rich foods, berries, turmeric, green tea, and dark leafy greens. Eat fatty fish twice per week, salmon, sardines, mackerel, or consider high-quality omega-3 supplementation. In a 2022 Italian longevity study, participants who followed a Mediterranean-style anti-inflammatory pattern reduced their CRP by 47% in just 6 months. Level up, tiered eating protocols. Level A, simple start. Add one anti-inflammatory meal daily. Example, eggs, spinach, and olive oil breakfast. Level B, structured change. Follow an 80-20 rule. Anti-inflammatory meals 80% of the week. Level C, deep repair. Track inflammatory markers every 3 to 6 months with your doctor and use spices, turmeric, ginger, garlic as daily medicine. The secret isn't radical dieting, it's consistency. The transformation. After 6 months of rebalancing his meals, Martin's labs told the story. CRP dropped from 5.8 to 1.2. His joints stopped aching, and his energy was so strong he took up community hiking again. He didn't go on a diet. He built an anti-aging menu. Now I want to hear from you. Which healthy food do you suspect might be secretly causing your inflammation? Juice, bread, or maybe something else? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone and might include your question in the next nutrition breakdown. Because as powerful as food can be, there's one habit that amplifies or destroys every other one you've learned today. Your mental state. And in our next section, we'll uncover how silent stress becomes the master switch for aging. Deadly habit number 5, the constant stress loop. You can eat clean, move daily, and get 8 hours of sleep. But if your mind never turns off, your body never heals. This is the silent habit that accelerates aging faster than smoking. Chronic, low-level stress. The physiology of pressure. When you live in constant alert, deadlines, caregiving, finances, or even worry about health itself, your brain releases cortisol continuously. Cortisol isn't evil. In short bursts, it keeps you focused and alive. But when it never shuts off, it becomes corrosive. A 2023 study from the University of Copenhagen measured telomere length, the caps on your DNA that shorten as you age. Older adults with high baseline cortisol had telomeres equivalent to someone 7 years older than their chronological age. In other words, stress doesn't just make you feel older, it makes you biologically older. Long-term cortisol also suppresses immune function, drives inflammation, and disrupts sleep architecture. That's why stress rarely exists alone. It worsens every other habit we've covered. Meet Carol, 69, had perfect lab numbers, but constant chest tightness and fatigue. She wasn't working, but she was worrying about her adult children, her bills, her neighborhood. She even felt guilty for doing nothing. The irony? She was living in a body that could relax, but a mind that wouldn't allow it. When we ran her morning cortisol test, it was double the average. Her body had forgotten how to stand down. The self-check. Here's a quick way to tell if you're in a stress loop. Do you wake up already thinking of problems to solve? Does your breathing stay shallow most of the day? When you finally rest, does your mind instantly replay old regrets or future fears? If 2 or more sound like you, your nervous system isn't resetting properly. The fix, the control and influence framework. I teach every patient this mental model. Simple but transformative. Draw 2 circles on a page. The inner circle is what you can control, your actions, words, daily choices. The outer circle is what you can influence, your relationships, your environment. Everything else, the world, the economy, other people's opinions, lives outside both. Once a day, list your stressors and categorize them into these circles. Then take one small action inside your control circle and let go of the rest. It sounds simple, but this exercise retrains your brain's amygdala, moving it from hypervigilance to calm regulation. Level up, the mind-body ladder level. A, mental. Practice the 4-7-8 breathing pattern 3 times daily. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 7, exhale 8. This lowers cortisol within minutes. Level B, emotional. Keep a 5-minute gratitude anchor before bed. Write 3 things that went right, however small. This shifts your default mental narrative from threat to safety. Level C, physical. Engage in grounding activities that involve both mind and body, Tai Chi, gentle yoga, gardening, or even slow cooking. These create embodied mindfulness. The opposite of mental chaos, the transformation. After 8 weeks of the control and influence routine, Carol's resting heart rate dropped by 10 beats per minute, and her cortisol normalized. But the real change came from her mindset. I realized stress isn't something that happens to me. It's something I can manage from the inside out. Engagement cue. What's the one thing right now that's draining your peace the most? Write it in the comments, not as a complaint, but as a declaration. Naming stress is the first step to shrinking it, because when you reclaim mental calm, you don't just feel better. You unlock your body's built-in longevity switch. And in the next section, I'll show you how these 5 habits combine, not additively, but exponentially, to reshape your health in just months. The compound effect, how small fixes create big longevity gains. You've just learned how 5 seemingly ordinary habits can quietly shorten life after 60. But here's the truth most people miss. These habits don't act alone. They interact like gears in the same aging machine. Fix one, and others start realigning automatically. The chain reaction. When you move more, your sleep improves. When you sleep better, you crave fewer inflammatory foods. When you eat cleaner, your energy returns, so you socialize more. When you reconnect, your stress levels fall. And when stress drops, every cell in your body, from your heart to your mitochondria, starts repairing itself faster. That's not motivational talk. It's measurable biology. A 2023 Stanford longitudinal study following 8,000 older adults found that people who improved just 2 lifestyle factors for 6 months reduced their biological age by an average of 3.1 years. Measured through DNA methylation, that's younger on a cellular level, not metaphorically. The timeline of transformation. Here's what happens when you begin implementing these changes, even modestly. Week 1, you notice lighter mornings, less stiffness, steadier mood. Month 1, sleep deepens, digestion steadies, and mental fog begins to clear. Month 3, blood pressure and glucose levels normalize. You start to feel younger than your birth certificate says. Month 6 and beyond, your biological markers, CRP, HbA1c, resting heart rate, often mirror those of someone 10 years younger. What's truly beautiful? Most of these improvements are self-reinforcing. Once progress starts, your body craves more of what sustains it. The mindset shift. The goal isn't perfection, it's momentum. Every time you make a choice that supports movement, rest, nutrition, connection, or calm, you're literally teaching your genes to behave younger. This is what geroscientists call epigenetic flexibility, your body's ability to rewrite its own aging instructions. Think of longevity not as a race to 100, but as quality per decade. When you add vitality years, you gain not just time, but better time, sharper mornings, fewer pills, and more moments you actually remember. The success snapshot. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Grace 73. She started small, standing every 30 minutes, cutting sweetened tea, calling a friend weekly, and practicing deep breathing before bed. 6 months later, she'd lost 10 pounds, dropped her blood pressure by 15 points, and began painting again for the first time in decades. She told me, "I didn't change my life overnight. I changed the direction of my life." That's the essence of compound health. Small daily deposits that yield exponential returns. So here's your reflection question and your challenge. Which of these 5 habits will you start transforming today? Movement, sleep, connection, nutrition, or calm? Write it in the comments as a public promise, because when you declare it, you anchor it. And in just a moment, I'll show you how to turn that single promise into a full action roadmap for the next 30 days. So you don't just know what to do, but how to make it last. Your 30-day longevity roadmap. You now understand what steals years from most people after 60, and more importantly, what gives those years back. But knowledge alone doesn't extend life. Consistent action does. So Before you click away, let's turn everything you've learned into your own 30-day longevity roadmap. The 30-day blueprint, week 1. Awareness and activation track how many hours you sit, sleep, and worry. Add a 3-minute movement break every half hour. Replace one processed food with a whole food swap. Week 2. Repair and reset. Apply the 3 to 2 to 1 sleep reset nightly. Identify one daily stress trigger and practice the 4-7-8 breathing method when it appears. Have one 10-minute conversation that's not about health or chores. Pure human connection. Week 3. Reinforce and refine. Begin your 1+1 challenge. One social call per week and one group activity per month. Cook 2 anti-inflammatory meals yourself. End each day with 3 gratitude anchors before bed. Week 4, reclaim and rebalance. Schedule a new physical goal, a morning walk route, yoga session, or dance class. Review your progress markers: energy, focus, mobility. Celebrate any small win. That celebration itself releases dopamine and reinforces new neural patterns. Why this works: by layering habits 1 week at a time, you avoid burnout and activate the compound effect we discussed earlier. Most viewers who follow this for a single month report sharper memory, steadier mood, and renewed energy. Proof that transformation isn't about age, it's about direction. The invitation I'd love to know: which one step are you committing to today? Write it below as your public promise. Not for me, but for yourself. I personally read these comments, and they inspire every future episode. If this message resonated with you, do 3 small things that help it reach others. Like this video. It tells the algorithm this content matters. Subscribe so you never miss the next evidence-based guide on aging stronger, not slower. Share this with someone you care about. It might literally add years to their life. Final words. Remember, longevity isn't about avoiding death, it's about expanding life. Each breath, each choice, each connection is a vote for the future version of you. The one who still climbs stairs, laughs loudly, and remembers every moment clearly. I'm Dr. Eli Morgan, and if you start your roadmap today, 30 days from now, you won't just look different. You'll feel decades younger where it counts. In your heart, your mind, and your purpose. Stay well, stay curious, and keep moving forward. I'll see you in the next video.